Good morning, everyone. It's Sal Stratford Post. How you all doing? I hope you're all doing well. It's Friday again. Sunday, Monday, what? It's Friday again. Yeah, it's Friday again. It's gone quick, hasn't it? It's gone quick. Some people are breaking up for the summer holidays. Some people are gonna enjoy it, the summer holidays now. In the Middle East, they're breaking up today. It's the last day again. It's the last day again. It's the last day again. Summer holidays. What a time to be alive. I mean, you take it for granted when you're young, don't you? You take it for granted that, you've got the summer holidays and, that's all you look forward to is the summer holidays. And, some people just take it for granted, when you're a youth and you're looking forward all year to this time. To this time, you're looking forward to it. Now, welcome to Stratford Post. I'm Sal Warner. This is Breaking Dawn. Thank you for joining me. Please don't forget to subscribe and smash a like on the video. Now, today we'll be talking about a number of things. Of course, it's been a very busy week in regards to Manchester United. Of course, Dan Ashford has taken over at the club and things are going to start moving steadily now. We hope, of course, they're going to start moving steadily. Now, firstly, Manchester United have had scouts at the European Championships 2024. As I said a few weeks ago that we will have scouts at the European Championships and have been scouting, in particular, Turkey. There was news earlier this week about Yilmaz and Manchester United looking at Yilmaz. But it has emerged today that Manchester United are scouting Ferdi Kodioglu. Ferdi Kodioglu is the guy who plays left back for Turkey, left wing back for Turkey, and has impressed at this tournament. Played very well against Austria the other day. A very good player, a young player, I believe he's 24. Fenerbahce player. Only issue is he may go for a bit too much skrilla for our dinner. He may go for too much money, but he's a very interesting one here because obviously Manchester United have to look at the left-back situation. Obviously, they were looking at earlier this week at Gutierrez. Miguel Gutierrez, obviously Real Madrid, co-owned by Real Madrid and Girona. And then now they're looking at Kodioglu. So they obviously got a concern about the left-back position. In my opinion, the left-back position is a very important position that we need at the club. Last season, we were playing, obviously, Wan-Bissaka at left-back, Dalot at left-back. We got Tyra Malaysia, who's been injured or whatever it is. He went missing. And I just don't know if we can trust these players to be there when we need them. When we need them. Last season was very evident of that we struggled because we were so unbalanced. We didn't have the left side sorted out, the left centre-back, and the left-back as well. Now, Kodioglu is an interesting one. Of course, this is why I always preach scouting, because when these tournaments come around and you start seeing the pool of talent that is available, that is affordable, players that you otherwise wouldn't even have known about, It's like Riccardo Fagiolo, the left back for Italy. No one knew about this player before the Euros, did they? No one was saying, we need to sign him, blah, blah, blah. It wasn't like that. But with Ferdi Kodioglu, who's gained interest from Manchester United because of the Euros, it's important in future that we do have people going to games, that we do have people looking at those teams, because those teams do have good players. In the Eastern Europe, for example, one of our greatest ever players ever, Nemanja Vidic. Now, let's be entirely honest here. Before Vidic signed for Manchester United, who knew who Vidic was? Let's be real here. Who knew who Vidic was? So it's important that we get our scouting team together and we look around and we scout Europe properly. That's what's important, because going for just the names that we all know about. We all know about De Ligt. We all know about Branthwaite. Going after just those names, it's just going to cost a lot of money. I'm not saying we shouldn't sign these players, of course. But if we scout a bit better, we can find bargains. Malacia was a bargain. Malacia hasn't worked out, of course. But I'm talking about real scouting. He was brought in by Ten Hag. I'm talking about real scouting, deep scouting that goes beyond Western Europe and goes into Eastern Europe. It goes into Turkey. It goes into countries like that who there is a lot of talent there. You know, there is a lot of talent in Croatia, the Croatian league. You know, there is a lot of talent there. You have to look around and you have to search for that talent. Go to Hungary, go to Bulgaria, go to Romania, look for these players. That's what Ajaxes of this world do, the Benficas of this world do. That's what they do. They also go to South America, they have a look. You're gonna find players there. You're gonna find bargains there. If we carry on, if we implement this right, we won't have to spend a fortune. We find our own talent. And it's exactly what Jim Ratcliffe said a few months ago in regards to finding your own Mbappe, so to speak. We're not going to just buy Mbappe, we're going to find our own Mbappe, you know? And I agree with that. But it's time we implemented that a bit more. A player like Ferdi Kodioglu is just an example of great players who play in like a Turkish league that no one would know about if it wasn't for the European Championships. No, we don't judge players based on just the European Championships. We look at a player and we say, goodness me, he's good. And he has been good. So maybe we should do a bit more scouting and be a bit more savvy with our work in regards to scouts and looking at players in leagues in which otherwise you wouldn't even consider. Norway, Sweden, Finland, Denmark, Belgium. These leagues have players. You just have to look for them. You just have to look for them. If we are going to be serious as a football club, we need to be at the forefront of scouting, forefront of finding these players. Now, representative of Kodioglu, his name is Mila Gazetesi, has told Manchester United that it would take a sizable offer to be accepted for the signature of Kodioglu. It would take a sizable offer. Why is it going to take a sizable offer? Because of the European Championships. Now, it wouldn't have taken a sizable offer a few weeks ago, would it? It wouldn't have taken a sizable offer if we actually went out there and looked. Why is Kodioglu being picked for Turkey? This is not Kodioglu's first cap. During the qualification stage, why was he being picked? Have a look. We need a left back. Who's out there? Who's out there now? Who's out there right now? Who we could sign, who would be affordable, who's talented, who's young. Instead, we're waiting for players to impress in the European Championships, and then we're left in limbo. Like, they're going to want 40, 50 million for the player, when otherwise he would have cost 20. You see what I mean? I think it's about time we started getting back to what we used to do in regards to scouting. The Ronnie Johnsons, the Ole Gunnar Solskjaers, the Peter Schmeichels, the Henningbergs, the David Mays. You know, it's about time we started Jaap Stams, Ruud van Nistelrooy. It's about time we've done our scouting a lot better than we are doing now. We need to find those bargains. Of course, we do need to spend some money. We do. But there is also bargains to be had. And if we just scout a bit, and if we are a bit more savvy, a bit more clued on, we would find these players before they become superstars at the European Championships. Do you know what I mean? It's an interesting one. But Ferdi Kodioglu is a good player. And I think we should go after him. I do. I think we need a left back. But we won't be held to ransom, of course. We don't want to be spending too much on these players. Miguel Gutierrez is another one. Good scouting. It doesn't take much. Girona, doing very well last season. Who plays for them? Who plays for Girona? Gutierrez, good player. Dobvik, good player. Search these players, scout these players, inquire about these players, and we may just find another legend there for peanuts, just like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Just like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Now, in regards to De Ligt looks very likely to sign for Manchester United as he has made it very clear that he only wants a move to Manchester United. Liverpool, Chelsea and other clubs in Europe have been interested in De Ligt since he supposedly has become available in the market. Now, De Ligt, of course, is very well known by Erik ten Hag. He has played alongside Ten Hag, so he knows about Ten Hag. Ten Hag knows about De Ligt. And De Ligt is very excited about the prospect of coming to Manchester United. It looks very likely that Matthijs de Ligt will end up signing for Manchester United within the coming weeks. Now, I've always said this, and I've been banging this drum for a very long time, that we do need players through the door very early so that our pre-season plans are prepared and they're done properly, and we can prepare properly for the next season tactically and embedding these players into the team. Now, Matthijs de Ligt is a very talented individual. Of course, there are people out there who have been very doubtful about de Ligt because obviously it hasn't worked at Juventus and Bayern Munich. Now, with Matthijs de Ligt, it hasn't worked out for him, if we're being brutally honest. It hasn't worked out for him. But of course, every situation is multi-layered. Not everything is black and white, is it? So we have to look at it fairly and look at why hasn't it worked out. Of course, Bayern Munich, who are blessed with an array of talent and of course are signing more defenders this summer, it is very difficult to analyse Matthijs de Ligt's stint at Bayern Munich. Maybe Matthijs de Ligt needed a club that is more on the way up than already established and buying players just for the sake of buying players because they want a shiny new toy. Maybe he would be better for the rebuild. Maybe he would be better for a club like Manchester United, fitting into Manchester United, and maybe that's where his career would truly flourish. Of course, I mentioned before that we have to be very careful that players who originate from Ajax, we haven't had much luck over the years with signing players from Ajax. Of course, there have been players such as the Blind and De Beek and Anthony, who haven't really set the world alight when they come to Manchester United. But Matthijs de Ligt represents a different animal, in my opinion. He has flattered to deceive at Juventus and Bayern Munich. He's obviously a very talented player to be attracted by those clubs. But I feel like sometimes certain clubs are just not made for certain players. I think he is a Manchester United player, and I think if he signs for Manchester United, he'll do a very good job. I think he's a very good player. I think he's very quick. I think he's very powerful. He's tall. He's what we need. He's young as well, with the amount of experience he's got, 24 years old, and to be that young and have that amount of experience is very, very impressive. I think if Manchester United signed him, it would represent a good buy and it'd be a good start. I'm not saying that's it, that's the be all and end all. We do need a rebuild on that defence. This is why I'm saying picking up bargains like Kodioglu, Gutierrez, for example. Matthijs de Ligt, in my opinion, is 90% away from signing for Manchester United. 90% away from signing for Manchester United. And the deal should be done within the next 10 days, I believe. It should be done. And it will be done. We need our players to come in right now. We do. We need players to come in and fit in to that squad, to that team, so Erik Ten Hag gets a head start in regards to pre-season and embedding these players into the team before the season starts. We don't want players coming through the door a few days before the season starts. It doesn't work like that. And it's proven it doesn't work like that. Afro, what's going on, man? What's going on? I hope you're well. Yeah, number 4. De Ligt will probably be given the number 4. He will be a Dutch Phil Jones or an Amsterdam Maguire. I don't know, mate. I don't know. I think he's a little bit above that in regards to the style of play. He's more of a ball-playing centre-back rather than a Maguire sort of player. I've seen him in the Champions League against Arsenal and teams like that and absolutely school big players, you know. I've seen him and I think he's a very good player. Do I think he's going to solve all our backline issues? No, I don't. I think we need more than just De Ligt in the team. We need another couple of defenders in there. We need a left back, a left-sided centre back. This is why I was interested in Branthwaite, because Branthwaite can play right-sided centre back as well, or subject to popular belief, contrary to popular belief. Branthwaite can play right centre back as well. So De Ligt would be a good buy. Do I think he'll solve all our issues? No. I'm a very, very big advocate for scouting. I love scouting. And ever since I was a kid and I was playing Championship Manager, I'll be scouting those players. I'll be looking at countries you wouldn't even think of. I'll be looking for those players, that's the next big thing, you know. I look at these European Championships, I look at leagues such as Slovakia, such as Estonia, such as Ukraine. These kind of leagues you need to look at, especially on the defensive side, because A lot of these players who come from these countries, they do have a different kind of mentality in regards to giving their all, their heart on their sleeve, putting their head where it hurts, you know. And I think we do need to look at that market a little bit more. We should stop trying to go after what is the popular narrative, who is famous, who's the most famous. De Ligt is the most famous, yeah, let's go after him. But De Ligt is a good player. I've seen this player for a number of years now. He is a good player, but we also have to approach this with cautious optimism. Andy Cole was right in regards to what he said, that he has signed for other, various clubs and his price has gone down every time he's signed for football clubs. This is entirely correct, but it shouldn't be it shouldn't be the reason that we completely neglect De Ligt. We have to give him a chance. And of course, everyone's situation is multi-layered. Everyone's situation is different. We have to understand this. And if we don't analyse the situation properly, we could miss out on De Ligt. Of course, he's wanted now by other clubs, Chelsea, Liverpool, for example. They know his talent. He's a talented dude. I think he would flourish under a guy like Erik Ten Hag. Now, De Ligt looks almost certain to be Manchester United, one of Manchester United's very first signings of this window. I think we should bring in a few players as well. Alongside De Ligt, we need to be serious here. We need to bring in 2, 3, 4 players through the door in quick succession. And it's also important that we get deals ready for players who are going to leave, because at the moment we have a lot of players that need to be gone. They need to leave. We've got them hanging around, stagnating on the bench. You know, we need these players to go. We need these players to leave, you know. This is a lot of work. That's why we've employed a recruitment guy to help with the recruitment side of things. And that includes getting rid of players and letting players leave the club. That's important. Now that Dan Ashworth is through the door, we hope that there will be a complete reboot. We hope that a lot of players will go out, and a lot of players will come in. Now, there's a lot of players that do need to leave, but I will come to that later. I will go through them one by one, and I will give my examples on why these players need to leave, when they need to leave, how much they could go for, and who they can go to. I'm going to give that a bit later on. Just a bit of news in regards to Manchester United and the search for, as I said, new players you might have not heard of. There is a player called Mikey Moore who plays for Spurs, Tottenham Hotspur. He is a 16-year-old, excuse me, playing for the under-17s. He has 22 goal contributions and has gained the interest of Manchester City as well as Manchester United. Now, Mikey Moore is a young player who would excite Ineos, and he would excite Ten Hag. Of course, we're going down the line of the Manchester United youth philosophy that we used to do so well all those years ago. Now, Mikey Moore is absolutely been smashing it in the under-17s and should be on our radar. Of course, he's not ready to break into the first team, but down the line, he could definitely be ready to burst into the first team. Mikey Moore is a very interesting prospect. I believe that these are the type of players, if we're thinking on a long-term project, we need to bring through the door, and we need to bring through quickly. Now, it's up to Tottenham Hotspur if they would let go a player like Mikey Moore, who's very highly rated, 22 goal contributions for the under-17s. Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. So we need to look at that. We need to look at that and explore avenues on how to find the next best thing, the next big thing coming through. Mikey Moore's another one who I would be, yeah. But we don't only sign players like Mikey Moore. We have to balance it. We have to balance it with experience as well. We need to find experienced players as well, not only players like Mikey Moore. Now, speaking of youth players, there's another player who is highly on United's radar right now. You may have not heard of him. He's an under-17 Slovakian winger. He goes by the name of Samuel Lasale. Now, Samuel Lasale has been on the books at Crystal Palace. He is a 16-year-old Slovakian midfielder who has gained the interest of Manchester United this summer as well. He's also wanted by a number of clubs, including Manchester City, always on our tails, and Liverpool. Lusale is a very talented individual, of course, a very successful Crystal Palace youth team. And obviously, the conveyor belt of talent that comes from Crystal Palace is very, very impressive. Now, it's important that we go after these players, especially players who are coming through the conveyor belt of talent at Crystal Palace, such as Olise and players such as that. It's important that we do snap up these players before they become household names and before they become extortionately overpriced. Lusale is another player who interested in Manchester United, and this is very exciting because we are scouting a bit better. Yes, we are scouting close to home. We do need to scout a bit more abroad, as I've been speaking about earlier. But Lusale is another one, along with Mikey Moore is another one who would be a very impressive scouting mission for Ineos and Manchester United, with Wilcox and Barada and all the players that are coming through the door, all the backroom staff and the players that are coming through the door. It would be a very, very impressive start to our campaign on thinking about the future, thinking about the youth players from the future, thinking about the next Mbappe, thinking about the next Olise, thinking about the next players coming through the door. And that's what we need to do. But of course, we don't just sign youth players. We also need to sign experienced players and more established players as well. That's what's important as well. We do need to do that as well. Now, news is that Marcus Rashford is going to have crunch talks with Dan Ashwood next week in regards to his future at Manchester United. Rumour is that Xerxes, who has been interested by Manchester United for a number of weeks now, months as well, is going to replace Marcus Rashford. A rumour is that Xerxes is being brought in as a replacement for Marcus Rashford. For this, I'm not too sure. I think that Xerxes should be brought in as well as Marcus Rashford staying. But if Marcus Rashford does not want to play under Ten Hag, does not want to play under this regime and this rebuild, it's important that we do cash in on Marcus Rashford. We should stop being so sentimental with certain players because they're born and bred in Manchester. We need to be more ruthless with certain players. And if Marcus Rashford does not feel it's going to work under Ten Hag, then it's important that we let him go and he can sign for another club. Now, Xerxes, of course, is high on Manchester United's radar at the moment. And Xerxes would be a replacement for Marcus Rashford. Of course, Xerxes is more of a striker, more of a central striker. But as Marcus Rashford leaves, we do need to bring another forward on that forward line in, and Xerxes would be interesting. Xerxes can play in that position, but I wouldn't pull him as gospel. Of course, we got Garnacho in that position as well. So we're kind of blessed in that kind of way in regards to Marcus Rashford. We have got cover on that position. But Xerxes could be in line for a replacement for Marcus Rashford. What do you make of that, guys? What do you make of that? Drop your comments below. It is a very interesting one, to be fair. Marcus Rashford could be leaving. We do hang on to players quite a long time. We do hang on to players that are not playing well because we have sentimental feelings towards players when we shouldn't. We should just be a bit more ruthless. And maybe with this new regime, with Dan Ashwood, etc., they are going to be ruthless. And they may cash in. Dan Ashwood believes we can raise 200 million from transfers, from wingers, from players that are no longer needed. Of course, that is a very, very far-fetched kind of number, because if we're going to raise 200 million from players sold, we have to sell players at the high end of their value. For example, if it was Greenwood, he will have to go for 40. If it was Maguire, he will have to go for 35. Of course, in an ideal world, that would be perfect, but it doesn't work like that. We've been very bad at selling players over the past. Even back to 2003 when we sold Beckham for 20 million. Even Ronaldo was too cheap. We've been very, very bad at selling players. We got rid of Pogba for nothing, bought him for 80 million, sold him for nothing, or got rid of him for nothing. It's just bad business, and we've been practicing bad business for a very long time. If we are going to raise 200 million, we need to get players on the high end of their value. And we need to not be taken for mugs. If Sancho wants to go, if Dortmund or Juventus want to sign Sancho, 40 million, 45 million, straight up. He's worth that much. He played in the Champions League final. You want him, pay up. That's how it should be. We shouldn't be accepting peanuts for our players. Now, I'm touching on Ten Hag's contract again. Ten Hag, of course, has had an extension to his contract. Of course, there's a few crumbs on the table for the Ten Hag outers last season. They're obviously going to use this as fuel for their breaking down Datsun Sunny or Nissan Sunny. They're gonna use that as fuel to their fire, of course. So in regards to Ten Hag, he gets 2 years, and if he impresses in those 2 years, he gets a 4-year contract. For me, 1 year was enough, but the extra year it sends out a message that we're believing in this manager and we're believing in this process. It's a good thing that they've extended the contract, guys. I know that a lot of Ten Hag outers are a little bit bitter, a little bit hurt inside, tossing and turning in bed, putting their pillow from one side to the other, the cold side to the warm side. They keep tossing and turning in bed, hoping that this was all a big nightmare and they didn't sacrifice themselves so early. Some of these guys will sacrifice themselves for a pack of M&Ms. Have value to your soul. Have value to your life. That's what you need. You lost this one, guys. Just Ten Hag outers, you lost this one. Guys, it's about Manchester United now. We move on. Support. We're not in a fight. We do not fight here. We debate about football and we speak the facts. That's what it's about, right? So support your football club, support Ten Hag, and we keep it moving, right? We keep it moving. Life has changed at Old Trafford from the days of Sir Alex Ferguson, of course. You know, when people get used to certain things, and, you know, we were very used to not much noise about backroom staff, about technical directors and, you know, recruitment guys and blah, 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 CEOs and all these kind of things. We weren't very interested in that. We were just interested in Sir Alex Ferguson, the signings we make at the summer, and who we play on that football pitch. But Sir Alex Ferguson did a number of jobs, that's why. Sir Alex Ferguson basically did everything at that club. He did everything, you know, from the recruitment side of things, to the coaching side of things, to the technical director side of things. He basically done everything. That's why he was so loved at the club, so adored at the club, as well as his successes and the success. He was just a machine that kept going and going and going. And you ask players about Sir Alex Ferguson, they think they get into training, they think they're the earliest guy at the training, and they see the light on at Carrington, at the old Carrington. They see the light on, and they see Sir Alex Ferguson in his office, working. We got kind of used to that, you know? It's a bit like going into cold water and sitting in cold water for a few minutes. Then you don't realise it's cold anymore. It was a bit like what happened with Sir Alex Ferguson. It's a bit like what was happening when he was at Manchester United. And I think that's what we have to get used to now, a number of personnel doing certain jobs, because nowadays we're not going to find another Sir Alex. Unfortunately, sadly, we're not going to find another Sir Alex. I'm just glad we got this team together. I'm glad we got this team together. I'm glad we can move on. I'm glad we got a structure. It's the first time we've had a structure in a long time. It's a very, very good reason to be excited about supporting Manchester United once again. Kenny, Fan TV, what's going on, man? Good to have you back again with the Kenny. What's going on? I heard some United fans say Ten Hag gone by November. Since when make a prediction like that? You see what it is, Kenny? Kenny, they're clutching at straws, pal. They're clutching at straws. They lost this one. They lost it. They cannot compete now. They lost. They celebrated too early. They posted the pictures of Michael Jordan. They're the ones who did it, not us. They're the ones who said, tears in my eyes, he's gone. They're the ones who did it, not us. They committed too early. Now, when people have ego, right, they develop an ego, glands of delusion. Was it called? Glands of delusion. They get delusion. So, when, like some people, like I was in the music industry 20 odd years, right? 20 odd years. And people believe their own hype, like they believe their own truth. So when they talk, they start to believe, even if it's a lie, they start to believe it, right? So because they look at these numbers, a lot of their numbers are fabricated, a lot of their numbers are from Mark Goldbridge and people like that, you know, because he put them on, remember? He put them on, right? And you can guess who these people are, right? Just because they got those numbers, it gets to their head a little bit and they get the delusion that they're always right. they're always going to be right about something. Well, it's rarely that they are right at the moment. They're criticising Bellingham, 20 years old, 23 goals last season, 15 assists, correct? They're criticising Rasmus Højlund, 21 years old, holding the line for Denmark and Manchester United. They're criticising Alejandro Garnacho, who's the next big thing in Argentina, right? They're criticising Ten Hag without looking at mitigating circumstances, 60 injuries, Rashford, Anthony, Greenwood, Maguire, takeover, mess. They're criticising him for that. Media on his back, yet still won a trophy, yet they're still criticising. If Ten Hag loses and loses and loses, yeah, he'll lose his job. Every manager would. If we brought in Pochettino, or we brought in a Southgate, God forbid, if we lost 10, 15 games on the trot, or we lost 5 games on the trot, his job would be in jeopardy. We know that. It's like they think they got some sort of degree in football knowledge. They don't know what they're talking about. I could get everyone at this table right now, sit them round this table right now, every single one of them, about 30 of them, like a bloody press conference, and I can school them on Manchester United. But they'll never do that. They'll never do that. Last season, they were more interested in criticising me, criticising every single Manchester United fan about writing a letter to Ineos, calling us pathetic. I didn't even write the letter, by the way, but they tweeted my tweet, calling us pathetic, getting together, making fake Twitter accounts to make themselves look popular. That's what they do. That's what they do, because they've got nothing else. They've got no other talent. They just sit around talking nonsense. And that's what they are. And if they really want a conversation, I'm here. I'm here. I can have a conversation with them about Manchester United, about Ten Hag, and I could school them. I'd school them about the past. A lot of them weren't wearing nappies in 1999. A lot of them weren't born in 1999. And I'll tell you one thing. How can you trust someone who can't even look after their own bloody cholesterol? I'll leave it at that in regards to that. But now, Manchester United, in regards to... Thank you, Kenny, by the way. Thank you for bringing that up. I get irate when it comes to this kind of thing because, you know, I've supported United a long time, you know, and I've been in and out about managers before, and I've doubted managers, and I've wanted managers out. I admit that, but I didn't believe in those managers, and I still to this day don't believe in those managers. And that is not a contradiction, is it? It's because I still don't believe in it. I believe in Ten Hag. That's the difference. Right, I believe in Ten Hag. Now, in regards to players in and out, I'm going to go through the team. Of course, some of the players that are rumoured to be out, in and out. Of course, I'm going to start with the full-backs and the back four. Aaron Wan-Bissaka, I think we should cash in on him. Of course, Aaron Wan-Bissaka is wanted by Fenerbahce and West Ham. I think if we can get anywhere near the amount of about 25 to 30 million pounds for Aaron Wan-Bissaka, we'll be laughing all the way to the bank. And I think, yes, we should cash in on Aaron Wan-Bissaka. In regards to Maguire, and of course, I'm talking about hypothetically if we do buy players, because we do need to buy players. We cannot just sell players. We need to buy players as well. In regards to Harry Maguire, I would be happy with a fee of 25 to 30 million. Again, if we get 35 for Harry Maguire, I'll be absolutely buzzing. But I doubt that's going to happen. Of course, a lot of teams these days don't take us seriously. We need to build up our reputation in the transfer market. We need to build up our reputation as a football club because the Glazers has really burnt us down over the years in regards to reputation because we go after players for months and months and months and then end up getting bitten and then panic buy and playing over extortionate prices. So with Maguire, I would say 25 to 30 million. I'd be very happy with that. Lindelof, 1 year on his contract, I believe. I'll be happy with 20 million for Lindelof. Now, players in the midfield, McTominay, I'll be cashing in on McTominay. If we get an offer of 30 to 40 million pounds, I would take it and I'd snap their hand off. McTominay's a very good pro, he's a very good professional, but he's not good if you want a challenge for a title and you have aspiration of being a big club again, a very successful club, a good player in the squad. I wouldn't be against keeping him, but I think that if we do get a big offer for Scott McTominay, I think we should snap their hand off. Now, this is when it gets interesting. I do believe that we do need to get rid of a lot of players. Anthony, I don't think it's worked out for Anthony. I think Anthony needs to leave. I think we need to cash in on Anthony, and I'll be happy with a deal of 40 to 50 million pounds. If any team is willing to pay that, they'll be absolute mugs, but I believe that we can make it happen. We got this new ball, we got a new team involved, and Anthony will be a very good good signing for a club like Ajax. He might go back to Ajax, a club who plays in France, a club who plays in Portugal, would be a very good buy for them. I believe that Anthony just doesn't fit the mould of Manchester United, a very hard-working player. He gives his all, he wears his heart on his sleeve, but just doesn't have the output that we need and the talent that we need. Of course, we need more assists from the wing. We need more creativity from the wing. Ahmad, I would keep. Ahmad is a very good prospect. I believe he can play at number 10 as well. I believe that Ahmad needs one more season to prove himself. I think he needs more games, of course. I'm really impressed when he came on last season. Very good young player, in line to be the next generational player. So I think we should believe in Ahmad, and I think we should give him a chance. And of course, we can't sell everyone, of course. In regards to Marcus Rashford now, Marcus Rashford is a very interesting one. Of course, Marcus Rashford I like as a player. I liked him last season, brilliant. A year ago, should I say, was brilliant. Scored 30 to 40 goals, but last season really flattered to deceive. A lot of problems around him. And I feel that the noise surrounding Marcus Rashford, is a bit too distracting to the team, especially at a time when we are in a crucial period in our history. We've got new ownership. We've got a new team together, so we don't want any noises. We don't want his brother coming out saying blah, blah, blah. We don't want that. So I believe that Marcus Rashford could either be an impact player from the bench or he needs to go. I think PSG would be a perfect move for him. I think it'd be a good move for his family to go to Paris. I think some players just need a refreshing start. They need a new start. We shouldn't just cling on to players. If it's not working, it's become a bit stale. Although if he did turn up next season, it will be typical, because this is what Marcus Rashford does. He turns up and then doesn't turn up the next season. Marcus Rashford is potentially a great player, but the walking on the pitch and the noises around him, it doesn't bode well. And I think if we do get an offer of up to 80 million euros or pounds, whatever you want to call it, pounds hopefully, then we should snap their hand off and move on from Marcus Rashford and start building a new team, a new legacy, a new style of football. Because at the end of the day, we don't need any more distractions. And that's what the main thing is. That's the main thing that we want in regards to Marcus Rashford. Greenwood, of course, I've mentioned Greenwood on here before. It's more to do with him than anything else. I don't want Mason Greenwood, a generational talent, a very talented player, unfortunately has to leave because of the noise that he will receive if he comes back into that Manchester United team, the abuse he received. So I'm thinking of him more on the mental side of things. I'm not thinking selfishly. I believe everyone makes mistakes. I believe we're all human beings full of intricacies and energy. You know, we make mistakes. We are fragile sometimes, you know. And it is a perfect, as Kenny said, is a perfect start time to sell Rashford. We should act like Real Madrid. We should act Barcelona. We shouldn't be sentimental. These players, if they have to go, they have to go. We have to move on, and we have to find a replacement for these players. Of course, we're very blessed in that position, but it's also very important that we find a replacement for these players. If we don't find a replacement for these players, we could be in serious trouble with the squad. Of course, Marcus Rashford did well in the FA Cup final last season. Let's not forget that. And he's been a good servant for Manchester United. But we do need to move on. And we can't keep squeezing a stone, hoping for water to come out of it. Now, in regards to, of course, Jadon Sancho. Jadon Sancho, of course, under no circumstances should he step foot on the Manchester United pitch again. Jadon Sancho is a very talented player, and I was one of the main advocates for Jadon Sancho when I was a year ago, 2 years ago when he signed for Manchester United, 2-3 years ago. I was one of the biggest advocates. If you go to my Twitter, type Stretford Post, type Sancho. If you scroll down, I was a big advocate for Jadon Sancho. Now, Jadon Sancho, what he did last season was the most disrespectful thing I've ever seen at a Manchester United football club, right? He didn't need to do that. He could have refrained himself from doing that. He could have took a walk. He could have took a drive. He's a rich man. He could have went out shopping. He didn't need to do that. He didn't need to undermine the manager. He didn't need to undermine the club. When a manager calls you out, I'm just going to put this straight, right? When a manager calls you out, it means he believes in you. It means he believes in you. It means that he believes you can do better. And if you can do better, that means he will rate you, doesn't it? Now, if he calls you out and says you're not training well, take it as motivation to improve yourself. He gave you 3 months off paid. And you done that. And you left it on there for 2 weeks, undermining the club. And then you went to Dortmund doing your indirects, Dortmund doing their indirects, and Dortmund ain't got a pot to hiss in, so to speak. You know, and they can't afford you. And you don't want to reduce your wage and to sign for Dortmund. So what does that make you? You know, if you hate us so much, go. If you hate Ten Hag, go, because you're not going to play under Ten Hag. Unless you go out there and apologise, you're not going to play under Ten Hag. Some people's GOAT, of course. I don't know what football they've been watching for the last 100 years, but if anyone calls Jadon Sancho a GOAT, I've got every right to call Carl Griffiths, who used to play for Leyton Orient, a GOAT. Because he gave his all and scored more goals from the same position. You know, just stop overhyping mediocrity. That's what I'm saying, right? You're overhyping sport brats, right? You're criticising players who wear the shirt. You're criticising Bruno. You're criticising Garnacho. You're criticising Rashford. Rasmus Højlund, apologies. And you're criticising Bellingham. Players who've proven it year in, year out. You call them stat padding. You call them bums. You call them Delaney. You call them all these things. Yet they're the ones who are proving it on the pitch. Yet Sancho's sitting on his bum in a car crying. Right? And you're backing this. You're backing the mediocrity. Okay? You do not have the soul as a Man United fan. Anyone who has this opinion doesn't have the soul. No player should go on Twitter and criticise the manager and put the club in disrepute. No one. If you feel partially about it, go to the manager face to face. Be a man. Be a man. That's what you need to do. Be a man. And go to him face to face and talk to him man to man. And say, look, I don't appreciate that. Why did you say that? And Ten Hag will explain himself. And you'll feel better. You'll feel better. Kenny, yeah, I would love to keep Greenwood, but what we have to understand is that I'm old enough to remember David Beckham, right? And I remember that I was in the stadium, bruv. I was in the stadium when he was getting the abuse, and I heard horrible things aimed at his wife. I heard horrible things aimed at him, things thrown at him, etc. And nowadays it's going to be worse. Nowadays it's going to be worse because he's going to have social media on his back. He's going to have people on his back. He's going to have fans on his back. He's going to have, you know, everything on his back, you know. And for his sake, I think we should either loan him out again or just take the money and just you know, part ways. And I wish him the very best of luck. Very best of luck, I do. He should play for England again. I believe everyone deserves another chance. He should play for England again. I think the woke Gareth Southgate is a prat. He has a selective he has selective anger syndrome. He has a selective punishment syndrome with some players. He'll leave out some players, but won't leave out the other players. Say that player hasn't played enough, not match fit. I play players based on form. Yet picks Luke Shaw for the squad and Wharton for the squad and Dunk for the squad when they haven't played particularly well. I think Greenwood deserves another chance, and I think for his sake, for his mental state, he deserves. He should really go. He can't play for Jamaica again. I don't think he can because he's played a competitive match for England. He's played competitively for England, so he can't play for Jamaica now. I don't think. Correct me if I'm wrong. That was the law before. I don't know if it's changed, but he can't play. As soon as you play a competitive game for England, I don't think you can play for another country. I'm not sure. It used to be that way, but I'm going to have to look that up. I don't know if it's changed at all, but I'm going to have to look that up. I heard something about them changing that, but we have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see. So Greenwood, sadly, one of my favourite players, the next Robin van Persie. Robin van Persie spoke highly of him. May have to leave the club. Of course, he should play for England again. I'm tired of this Southgate thing. Southgate, the guy who missed out on Musiala, who's in line to be one of the best players in the world. Musiala grew up in Croydon, guys. Croydon, he grew up in England. He played for England under 16s, England under 20s, England under 21s, and he didn't play him. He didn't give him a cap. The guy is loco, he's mad. He didn't give him a cap. Everyone's saying give Musiala a cap. Oh, he's not wanted now. I played for Germany. He's a prat. Pratgate. He's such a prat. Now he's got no choice but to turn his team into a 5 at the back or a 3 at the back. free as defence because he doesn't know how to set a team up in an attacking formation. Goodness me, I hate getting into England, but I always have to get into England because England drive me mad. That manager drives me crazy. He makes me want to jump off a bridge. He's absolutely crazy. He's a nutter. You know, he's absolute nutter, this guy. This is a Gareth Prattgate, you know? And I don't advocate for Jay, so it's metaphorically speaking, right? Metaphorically speaking. He makes me want to jump off a bridge opinion-wise. Because he is a jump off the bridge manager. He's a suicide manager, changing his formation before a game, and he hasn't played that formation in years. Pathetic. Now, anyway, a quick recap in regards to Manchester United. Manchester United have had an interest in Turkish international left-back Ferdi Kodioglu. The Fenerbahce man is highly rated and is now on Manchester United's radar after impressive Euro 2024. He representative of Kadioglu and Fenerbahce, Mila Gazetezi, has said that he would only leave for a significant amount of money. How much would that money be? I say 40 million probably. De Ligt has been tipped to sign for Manchester United within the next 10 days. De Ligt, who's only interested in Manchester United, has rejected the chance to sign for Liverpool and has rejected the chance to sign a contract extension at Bayern Munich. He wants to sign for Manchester United. Manchester United are also interested in youngsters and under-17 internationals, Mikey Moore and Samuel Lasale. Mikey Moore currently at Spurs and Samuel Lasale is currently at Crystal Palace. Two very highly rated players for the up and coming for the future. It would be a very good coup if we can grab those two players, and it will look like in the next couple of years they will break into the team, and it will show a sign of long-term planning and long-term stability that we're planning with youth players and buying the next in line to be world class, which is important that we do as well. We implement this well because we've really gone back in regards to that. There was Garnacho, but we haven't since then really brought in players from other teams who are the future. Garnacho, of course, was brought from Atletico Madrid, and we brought him in. We need to do that more. Sir Alex Ferguson used to do it a lot with PK, players like that, of that nature, of course. Now, there's rumours that Xerxes will be replacing Marcus Rashford in the Manchester United team, in the Manchester United squad. It is believed that Xerxes is not just a buyer to add to the squad, he's a buyer to replace Marcus Rashford. Now, this is only a rumour. Rumour is Marcus Rashford has become disillusioned at Manchester United and his relationship with Erik ten Hag has soured, and he feels that a bit disillusioned and is due for talks with Dan Ashworth later next week. Now, Erik ten Hag's contract was extended by a year, of course. That's fine. He's got a 2-year contract now, and it is enough time for him to prove himself. Of course, the Ten Hag outers, as I went in earlier, have little few crumbs on the table like a fruit fly, crawling along the floor with looking for crumbs. They've lost this one, and Ten Hag has a 2-year contract to prove himself. Hopefully next season he will prove himself, and he'll get a 4-year proper contract, new boaster, brand new contract, and that will be that, wouldn't it? Now, guys, please, he's versatile, Xerxes. Xerxes can play on the left, mainly as a forward, but he can play on the left. And I think if we sell Rashford, we do need to sign a new winger, new stroke striker, a player who can replace him. Of course, the under 25 thing is what Ineos are going for. Xerxes 23, very highly prospect. Hasn't really established himself at the clubs he's been at, but obviously, as I said with De Ligt, he can at Manchester United. We're in a rebuild, and I feel like players like Xerxes, players like De Ligt worked well with a rebuild rather than going to a team like Bayern Munich, and it's already full of superstars, and it's really hard to implement yourself and establish yourself in clubs like that who are already full of superstars. Harry Kane, players like that, David, and all these players that they've got, Musiala. It's very hard to implement yourself in that sort of environment. So a team like Manchester United, Xerxes would be a good buy and would be a good addition to our squad. And if he's replacing Rashford, so be it. Of course, I would love to keep both of them, but Rashford, we can cash in on him now. If we can get a good money for him, bringing in newer, hungrier players will be a very good idea for Manchester United. Now, guys, thank you so much. The usual is Kenny. Guys, thank you for joining me. Afro Soup, what's going on? Thank you for joining me today. Please don't forget to smash a like and subscribe to the channel. Drop comments on the YouTube channel. If you could share it on your page, all of that nice, sweet stuff, I'd be very appreciated. Of course, it is the Euro 2024 quarter-finals tonight. We have Germany against Spain, Portugal against France tonight. I will be doing live watch-alongs for those games. They'll be live on Stretford Post. They'll be live on Chatterbox on Stretford Post tonight. So I start my coverage from 5 p.m. UK time, 8 p.m. Middle Eastern time. That's where I am. It's another late one for me. 11 p.m. Middle Eastern time for the second game between France and Portugal. Now tomorrow I will be doing the games between Switzerland and England as well. Of course, I'll be doing both games tomorrow. It is another big game, another big one tomorrow. Of course, Turkey will be playing and putting their wits up against who they're playing tomorrow. Who are Turkey playing tomorrow? Anyway, Turkey are in action and England are in action, and it should be a very interesting time tomorrow, an interesting game tomorrow and tonight. So I'll be up till late, break of dawning, then I'll be up in the morning. So for you guys, early in the morning to give you the latest news. But of course, it's Holland against Turkey tomorrow as well. So I'll be covering that. They've just a bit of news. The UEFA have banned Demiral, the Turkish defender. What do you make of that? They banned him for a celebration. The thing I don't like about football these days, and I'm going to say it, and I'm going to get into another run. The thing I don't like about football these days is that they're far too concentrating on the negative things side of football, banning things. They're more concentrating on banning goals than accepting goals. They're more concentrating on banning players than letting players play on. We are human beings. Let the emotions free. Let the emotions free. Stop trying to ruin football, UEFA. Stop it. Stop banning players. I know you don't want the Turkish team to go through. I know you want Holland to go through for reasons. We all know why. We know why. We do know why. We know why. We know why you love Messi more than Ronaldo. We know why, and it's not football. So tell us, why are you continually banning players from teams, giving them next to no chance to play a team like Holland in the quarter-final? Let the guys play. Let them celebrate. Let them show their emotion. Stop being so miserable and stop being woke. Stop being woke. Your wokeness is gonna fall, just like Gareth Southgate and his wokeness. All right. Anyway, guys, love you all, man. Love you all. You guys are the best. Please subscribe, drop a like, send it to your friends, please. On the road to 5,000. I will get there, guys, and we will get there together. And soon I will be doing live call-ins and live video calls. If anyone wishes to join my stream on a live video call, you are more than welcome. Let me know, DM me, and I'll send you the link. And we can have a live video call and we can discuss, of course, the subjects of today. We can discuss the subjects of today. In regards to noise around Manchester United, the noise is very positive. The noise is very good. It's better than no noise. And we should be happy about that. But of course, cautious optimism should always be applied when something hasn't been proven yet. And I always say that because I've experienced in this last over 10 years of Manchester United being letdowns. Big up, Kenny. Thanks for joining me again. Try and get more people to join in the conversation. Get your friends and family and whoever it is to join in this conversation to have a proper debate, and we'll get it on. Kenny, always speak facts. Thank you very much for joining. Guys, I'm going to be off now. It's Friday again. Sunday, Monday, what? It's Friday again. Sunday, Monday, what? Now, yeah, I'm going to go out. It's Friday. It's hot in the Middle East, in Abu Dhabi. We are here for you. And we're going to enjoy. I hope you enjoy your weekend, guys. I hope you. I'm going to be here anyway. So no getting away from me. No getting away from me at all. I'm going to be right here, right now. As Fatboy Slim once said. Right here, right now. Anytime, man. Peace, guys. Take it easy.